body bags were whore lies.
Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
Hey guys, happy Thursday, this is your Fright Chick speaking. Okay, so this week's theme is serial killer week, so any film that was based on an actual serial killer or murder or whatever. My pick this week is Heavenly Creatures. I don't have the DVD, but I used to have it on VHS. So Heavenly Creatures documents, and it's quite a massive dramatisation as well, of the Parker Hume murder. In New Zealand in the 50s, two girls, Juliet Hume and Pauline Parker, murdered Parker's mother. I think her name was Honora, something like that, so that they could be together. The diary of Pauline was found the next day, and it detailed the premeditation and everything. They were both arrested and sentenced to, I think they were sentenced to like 30 years each or something like that, and they were told they could never meet again. In 1994 this came out. It's got Kate Winslet and Melanie Lynskey, and it was their debut movies. I quite like Melanie Lynskey. For those of you who don't know who she is, she was in Rose Red. I think she was in But I'm a Cheerleader as well. She's not a massive star, but you probably recognise her. I think she was in Two and a Half Men. That was it, yeah. So I really love this film. I'm not going to slag it off at all. It is a massive dramatisation because a lot of it is probably from what was found in Pauline Parker's diary. These two girls were really like, I'm not surprised that they turned out to be, you know, killers. Peter Jackson directed it, so you know it's got to be good. Okay, so yeah, it starts off from the meeting in 1952, I believe, and then it goes right up until the murder. The film actually opens with the girls running up to this little inn at the top of a hill with blood all over them, screaming that one of their mothers is hurt and they think that she's dead and they need help. So that pretty much tells you what's going to happen at the end of the film if you're not even aware of it. Yeah, so Pauline Parker was 14, a young girl in New Zealand at the time, and then Juliet Hume was 15-year-old from England, from a sort of wealthy family. They end up in the same school together, and they have an intense friendship right from the get-go. They're both very isolated, their families, you know, they've had long illnesses and things, and they bond over all of that. The film follows them to increasing their friendship, basically, right up until the murder. And it kind of dramatises their whole fourth world thing that they have going on. They have this weird little world that they've created together in stories and stuff. They make up little stories together to kind of, I don't know if it's to kind of give themselves some comfort in their life, but it's pretty disturbing when you watch it. It's a wonderful film to watch, but as it goes on and you realise that these two are just like so not insane, but they're very intense in everything they do, and it just builds and builds and builds and builds to the point where they just like each other so much, and they have so much in common, and they create these little worlds together. And the real world, the people in the real world, like their parents and whatnot, start to kind of try and pull them apart. This is very distressing for them, and the acting was brilliant. I loved it. And this is becoming a problem for them because they can't understand why people don't want them to be together. They can't understand why that people don't see things the way they are, and can't just let them be. And then of course it gets to the point where Juliet's parents want to take her to a different country and leave her with a relative because they are becoming increasingly concerned with how close she's being with Pauline Parker. They then decide to murder Pauline's mother, and the end sequence, the last sort of 10 minutes, it's quite disturbing, I will say. There's not really much else for me to say about the film because it is literally just a dramatisation of what happened in real life with them. Obviously there are some special effects in this to show you what they appeared to be seeing when they were looking at this fourth world thing, you know, and their sort of fantasy life, their fantasy world, as you were. But it's done really well because you do, like I said, the acting was great. I mean, you really do sort of understand how intense these girls, even though that they're just actresses and this is something that happened years ago, and it's all really conjecture because a lot of it is personal conversations. We don't know what happened, we don't know what was said specifically really, except for what would have been in that diary. So how they've kind of had to make up, you know, the different scenes and different things that happen to show you how intense the friendship was done very well. But yes, the end sequence where they are leading their mother down this this pathway into sort of the middle of nowhere, if you will, and then building up to actually killing her. They bludgeoned us to death with a brick, basically. It's so intense. When they actually start killing her, it gets you. It really does. It got me, and I've seen this film a million times. It's amazing. I won't really say much else about it. It's pretty quick review. Yeah, it came out in 1994. I thought it was a lot later than that, but it stands the test of time, so I would say watch it. You can probably put it up pretty cheap. Yeah, I think it's something like a few quid, something like that. But yes, definitely give it a watch. It's totally worth it, and it'll get you right there. The feels, people. Okay, I will see you next week. Bye.